Of all the products that it seems like Konami doesn't know what they're doing with, I think special editions are at the top in my opinion. There's a lot of things wrong with special editions. They've had some really, really bad ones in the past, but Konami isn't always doing bad special editions. Very often they actually do ones that are pretty darn good. Like the last one we had was pretty insane. They had Gamma and Called by the Grave in there, two insanely good promos, not only from the past, but also from the future, and that's kind of what Konami's been doing for a while now. However, I think the Flames of Destruction Special Edition in particular is kind of strange. If we look at that last Special Edition, there were two really, really solid promos. This one, not so much. So you can see the promos here. We have these two super variant cards in Cybernetic Horizon. Neither of these cards really do anything super important. I mean, the spell card is okay. We'll read that if we get it. I'm sure we will. We have 3 copies. And then the super variant cards, I guess, are welcome reprints. The Grand Soil one is specifically just because they needed to get an errata to come off the Forbidden Limited list. The Moulin Glacier one is because it was sort of hyped up when Element Sabers were announced. Here's the issue. Element Sabers pretty much flopped entirely. Many people were surprised by that, including myself, but yeah, basically the deck has done nothing competitively, so I'm not even sure if these cards would have been relevant anyway. But basically you have 4 promos here that don't really affect the competitive metagame and also aren't really super useful to casual players, unlike the Called by the Grave and Sideframe Gamma from the last special edition. Yeah, this set's just weird, but I thought I would open it anyway. I'm going to try just going forward. I think you guys have kind of noticed that I've dialed back on the sort of pack reviews, and I think I'm just going to open things that are new and or interesting, kind of like that $100 pack that I just opened. And then this one's new, so I think that you guys should see it. I think just in general, you probably shouldn't buy this special edition. I've seen some pretty questionable ratios from the... I always open these horribly. Everyone always yells at me. Yeah, I've seen some pretty questionable ratios, very similar to what happened with the actual set, where cards like Infinite Impermanence and Ghost Bell also, I say Infinite Impermanence, and Ghost Bell are kind of way more short printed than the other secret rares in the set. And oh my gosh, I wish I could open these correctly anytime. I'm not even gonna bother trying to open this one on camera just because it's so awful. I think that some people told me just to do that. Okay, that's much easier. Maybe I should have done that for the other two. Yeah, that was way easier. I'll try to remember that next time. But yeah, there's been some weird like secret rare printings in terms of how many of the good ones are being printed and how many like Vampire Suckers are being printed. Vampire Sucker and the Ojama card, the super secret force or whatever. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, let's take a look at the promos we got. Once again, these cards I don't think are super relevant. So we have Universal Adapter. Now, I do want to say the artwork on this thing is amazing and got all the Battery Man cards. Well, the original ones, A, B, C, and then whatever... I don't even know what that little guy is. Anyway, though, target one phase of monster your opponent controls the attack of all their monsters currently in the field become equal to that monster's current attack until the end of this turn. It's kind of like a Battery Man A, just kind of for all of your monsters. This card might actually have some potential if 2 things were changed about it. First of all, the fact that this thing can only target your opponent's monsters makes it pretty bad because it means you can't just set up your own board and use this. Second of all, it's a trap card, so the deck type that would want to play this card would be like an OTK strategy, and they don't really play a lot of traps. It's kind of weird. Then we got one Moulin Glacier. This card's pretty good. It's like a one-of in the Mermail deck sometimes. I don't even know if it's being played at this point. I think a lot of people are just playing the sort of combo version of Mermail with Nightmares. Maybe they're playing like one copy of this so you can search it off with Dragoons. Then we have World Legacy's Memory. Special summon one Mekk Knight monster from your hand or deck in defense position, but return to the hand during the end phase. For the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except Mekk Knight monsters. You only activate one World Legacy's Memory per turn. This card doesn't seem very good, unless I'm like missing something, because I feel like I'm pretty sure like Nim Nim just made a video saying like I can't believe they're printing this early, and I don't know, this card doesn't seem that good. If it didn't have the special summon restriction clause, maybe it'd be okay. I guess you can play Invoked or whatever if you don't have Alistair. We have Grand Soil. Unfortunately, I already have this card, but I guess this has the errata being that it's a hard once per turn, so you can't just bounce it back to your hand and use it a whole bunch of times. OTK, or I guess FTK your opponent. Another Universal Adapter, and then another Moulin Glacier. That is it for our promos. Now let's get into the packs. Like I said, the cards that are good in here, you got Ghost Bell, obviously you got Infinite Impermanence, by far the best card in this set. You have some other cards, like the Nightmares are good, Unicorn, what is that other one? Griffin. Those cards aren't terrible, but I think that the real selling point of this set is the Infinite Impermanence and Ghost Bell, both of which are pretty hefty price tags. Anyway, get right in. And these are also the unlimited versions of the pack, which is kind of worth mentioning. Defrag Dragon, very good at Sneak Peek. Crystal Keeper, Prompt Thorn, and oh, the cover card and a secret rare, Topologic Trispania. This card didn't see as much play as I thought it was. I think it's just like a better version of Decode Talker, but not. I mean, it's not quite as OTK centric as Decode Talker. It doesn't have any attack gaining abilities, but yeah, it's a pretty good card that banishes a bunch of back row. It's pretty cool. Trickstar, whatever that is. This card, Proton, whatever. Element Saber, Nana, whatever, and Inzector Person, which is like really lackluster. The Inzector link is pretty darn bad. It's not that it has nothing to do with the Inzector cards, it's just like what it does for them. Like, it doesn't really matter, so it's kind of weird. 3 Trolling Trolls, Defrag Dragon, Call by the Grave, incredibly good card. Put that aside. I can't pronounce that. And Trickstar Rodidode. You can put that on there. Super. Backup Operator. Altergeist. It's like the Altergeist trap monster that no one asked for. Another Trickstar. And Batteryman Solar. Man, I like have not done that Batteryman deck profile that I was supposed to do. I have like the deck set aside. I guess I should. There's like that profile. I think like the last open I did, I talked about Shino Birds being profiled. Maybe that should happen. Like just all these decks. I don't know. The profile is just people just something to like them anymore, so I don't really do them. And the Medolce one, yeah, I can't open these packs. It reminds me of all the profiles that I've sort of forgotten to do. Palace of the Elemental Lords. Part of the reason the Elemental Lords were even thought of to be good, and also the main reason that they're bad, is because they rely on this card way too much. This card is really good for the most part. I mean, it's kind of annoying that it makes you skip your next battle phase, but yeah, this card's pretty good. But the problem is the deck really sucks when you don't have it, so it's pretty bad. Anyway, Sack is Light, really good card. That actually saw a top at an Italian regional with Burning Abyss. Of all places for a Burning Abyss to top, probably Italy is the most likely. They all love their Burning Abyss decks, apparently. Called by the Grave, again, very cool. Vendread Nightmare, Altergeist Person, Elemental Training. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Got the Elemental. I mean, these Elemental cards, like the Elemental Lords and they're Element Sabers, they were super hyped. I mean, like really, really hyped when this set came out. I mean, everyone at the sneak peek thing that I went to was looking to pick them up. Like, they were, like, all those cards, there's so many Ultra Rares and stuff. People just thought, I mean, to be fair, the Elemental Lord cards, like Moulin Glacia, Grand Soil, all of those guys are pretty good cards. It's just like the problem is it's not enough for a deck. That guy again, Defrag Dragon in every pack. That weird card. Goki, the Master Ogre. Literally never seen anyone play that card before, but it's okay. Even with Goki, this I always bring this card up. I think I mentioned this in a different video as well. This card was insane at the sneak peek. This card was like impossible to out. Like the ultimate card for like controlling the board. It was so good. Too bad it'll never see any competitive play. It'd probably be really good in Duel Links though. There's a lot of cards like that. Like I think that Konami really should put Vendreads in Duel Links, because I think that deck would be really good in Duel Links. Space Insulator. This card's actually seen a ton of play right now. Kind of like a replacement for Underclock Taker in a lot of strategies. Elemental Training again. Man, we're almost there to our Element Sabers deck. Bladefly. It's weird with like Bladefly and the Fire one, which I don't remember the name of. Did that one even come out? No, I'm pretty sure the Fire one came out. Anyway, these types of cards where they're the attribute and they don't really have any other effects besides giving link arrows, they were like really good when they first started coming out. Like Mrs. Radiant and Mistar Boy were both insanely powerful, but like Grapefly, I mean, who's playing Grapefly? The problem with these cards, and the reason that I sort of said way back when Links first came out, when those cards were announced, that I wanted them all to just be released in one set at the beginning, is that it's going to get to a point when we finally get like the dark and the light one, and you simply just don't need to play Link monsters like that anymore. I mean, nowadays you don't just play Link monsters for their markers, you play them for the effects, where back when Mr. Boy, I mean, which is still being played, and Mrs. Radiant, which is kind of still being played, back when those cards originally came out, though, Link monsters were way worse, so they had much less competition. That's my little ramble on those. I think they should have just released them all at one time. Crystal Keeper, Prompt Thorn, this really, really bad Element Saber card, Trickstar Bouquet, Element Saber, that guy again. That guy's really funny looking. We pulled a couple of those. Yeah, I think it would have been when Lynx first came out. If they would have released all those cards at one time. Oh my gosh, I can't open this pack. They would have released all those cards at one time. I think people, including myself, would have been a lot more happy with Lynx. The Element Saber, Restoration of the Monarchs. Yeah, did you know there's a Monarch like premature burial in this set? I didn't. Oh my god. 3 elemental trainings. I don't even think that's just insane. Man, rip FAs though. Everyone keeps asking me like, when am I gonna update FAs with the the Ancient Fairy Dragon band? I don't actually think it's possible to play the deck anymore. I guess you could like maybe like FA winners is like the way to play it. It's really not a combo deck anymore. It's just I guess you could cheese some wins with FA winners, but man, it's so sad. I loved FAs so much, and then they just killed them with Ancient Fairy Dragon. Goki Octo Stretch. Those cards again, and the last Goki Master Ogre. Well, we got a lot of duplicates, and we pulled 2 of this, 3 of an ultra rare, which is ridiculously, of all the things that are unlikely to do on this sort of pack opening of this scale, pulling 3 of the same bad ultra rare. I mean, I guess now the ultra rares that are like ridiculously good, besides like the Nightmare Goblin card, but it's crazy that we pulled like 3 copies of this. That's just pretty unlikely. Anyway, though, thank you so much for watching this video. Tomorrow's video is going to be pretty huge. It's one that's been kind of in the works for a while, so hopefully you guys look forward to that, and I will see you later. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.